heard across several news sources of terrorism attacks targeting specific cultures and all cultures. But really, what is terrorism? And terrorism is the use of intentional violence, mainly against civilians, for political purposes. Now, terrorism can attack specific cultures, and it can attack all cultures, or basically just the intent to hurt people, as many as possible, no matter who they are. Now, there are several cases of specific cultures being attacked. The biggest terrorism attack against a specific culture was the Holocaust, against the Jews, mainly. Now, some people may not view this as a terrorism attack, but it does fall under the definition because it was against regular civilians who happened to be Jew and was for political purposes. Now, this happened when the Nazi Party was able to take the majority in the Germanic government, and it was led by Adolf Hitler. Now, Jews were detained into concentration camps, which ended up killing 6 million recorded Jews, and thousands more has been unrecorded or have not been found yet. Now, this in recent generations cannot really relate to this because these generations have not experienced it. So another terrorism attack that's similar and is happening in our own United States of America is immigration detention systems. Now, from the American Civil Liberties Union, they describe how thousands, especially of Latino culture or background, have been locked up, whether they are legal immigrants, immigrants with green cards, immigrants who are getting their green cards, or illegal immigrants. Now, they're subject to brutal and inhumane conditions where they basically have no rights and no legal representation to get themselves out of these systems, which are essentially concentration camps with a little bit more of a humane system. Now, we also have instances of all these cultures being targeted. One of the biggest United States terrorism attacks has been 9/11. From History.com, it describes that 19 Al-Qaeda recruits, which is an Islamic extremist group, hijacked 4 planes, 2 hitting the Twin Towers of the World Trade System, 1 hitting the Pentagon, and 1 hitting a field in Pennsylvania. Now, this has killed 3,000 people and has caused America and a lot of other countries to be more strict with their traveling security. Now, this doesn't just happen in America, it happens in Paris too, or countries all across the globe. BBC News describes the Paris attack on Friday the 13th of November, where gunmen and suicide bombers went into action. They targeted a large concert hall, a major stadium, restaurants, and cafes, killing 130 people and injuring many, many more. Now, some people may argue that terrorism sparks change. Usually those who are terrorists believe that it sparks change against their morals, their goals to be pushed forward, and wrongs to be fixed. But most of us can agree that this doesn't fix anything. Instead, it makes us hate each other and makes it more difficult to travel. And it really just causes fear, which is their goal, but it's not pushing what they want. What they want is to push their goals of making one group superior to another or making one group less than the rest. It's not pushing that. It's just making us more divided and fearful, but also making it more difficult for terrorism attacks. But what we should really learn from terrorism attacks is that yes, we should be precautious from people who hate other people, but is that we shouldn't hate each other. We shouldn't be fearful of each other. We should group together, especially in the Muslim or Islamic culture, is that those few terrorists do not represent all of them. Those few terrorists of one culture do not represent the entire thing, which is what we need to understand, and we need to communicate with each other more and love each other more. And this is what terrorism attacks should be bringing to us, and instead should bring us together as a culture so that we don't develop young people who turn into terrorists because they face the prejudice of scared people.